The newest rule that we saw right now in 2013 was the unsportsmanlike conduct of pushing one player into another to try and block a field goal. Of course, this happened in the Jets-Patriots game.
It doesn't have to be a field goal. You can't push a player into the offensive backfield.
Any play. So the Jets won the game 30-27, basically on some fluke rule. I mean, let me first get a yes or no from the panel. I'll start with Steve. Yes or no, you like this rule, or it is just a horrible.
I don't understand the rule at all. I don't know what the purpose is and what it's supposed to. I mean, this is a very high contact game with a lot of heavy hitting. But it's odd that you can't go behind another guy and push him.
Yeah, I like that
really
the NFL's
weird.
reaction to player safety. Like, we're dealing with massive evidence that the NFL covered up significant knowledge of CTE, and then we know the concussion situation, which is of course related to CTE,
and Brandon Merriweather, right?
And you got guys like Brandon Merriweather, and they're like, no pushing.
Yeah,
like what injury are we exactly concerned about here? I get what you see have called on field goals. I get propelling, using another player to leap into the air because it puts you at risk. It could put them at risk because they can't. The player who's being used as the base can't protect themselves if they get undercut. And it seems like an unfair way to block the field goal.
Yeah, and it's going to be weird when we have weird Cirque du Soleil type of athletes who've launched themselves 30 feet into the air and catch the
Well, you need rings to do that.
That would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
But this idea that you sort of help to get some extra penetration, I mean, I just don't even see it being relevant. I don't know what they saw that made. I'd be interested to hear some of the backstory, the legislative history. What did they see that made this a rule?
It doesn't make any sense.
It bailed Rex Ryan out of a really, I think, terrible decision.
I agree.
I mean, I love going for the win, and at that point, any score would have won it. But that's a 56-yard field goal outdoors from.
That was his career high. He never made one from that far away.
Yeah, he got it there.
Yeah.
It did clear 56 yards, but it was not.
It just didn't go through.
It never had a shot, and then you give the Patriots the ball on the 46-yard line. It's insane.
And also the play calling beforehand was awful. I mean, they just did.
It was like
Chris Ivory runs for 2 yards and 6 yards and 2 yards,
and he was like, "Then I'll just kick a 56-yard field goal."
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I agree.
He was having a pretty good game. Roll him out, create a little bit of space, and give your kicker a chance. That was pathetic.
Yeah,
Chris Ivory had a really good day, though.
He did have a good
He had
day.
34 for 104. I mean, he had a really good day.
But after the 17th run in a row, you might want to try a pass.
No, sure. So it's USC play calling is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Tom Brady was held without a touchdown for the second time in 3 games. Is there something going on here? Is there something that we just don't really know about the Patriots? I mean, they got Gronkowski back.
Yeah, and he played well.
And he played very well.
We know exactly what's going on with them. There was no Gronkowski until this week. He wasn't in there for every play, even this week. There was no Gronkowski. There's no Wes Welker. There's no Brandon Lloyd. There's no Deion Branch. They're working.
There's no Chad Ochocinco.
There's no. We're forgetting one other guy too.
Brandon Lloyd.
Danny
Amendola.
The triple murderer. Right.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, God.
The guy who killed his best friend because he talked to the wrong people. Whatever. It's not a big deal. He seems like a good guy. It makes a huge difference. But they're getting there, and Gronkowski damn near won the game for him when they had the tying field goal drive with what would have been an amazing catch that it looked like he had, and he would have scored. And instead of kicking the tying field goal at the end of regulation, the Patriots would have scored to go ahead. And it looked to me like he was going to make that catch.
And also, not having a touchdown pass to me is not a big deal. I mean, on that one play, I think it was Gronkowski was tackled at the 2-inch line.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he leads
So that's
a little bit
Megatron unluckiness, sort of. Yeah. All right.
They looked better, but the fact of the matter is the Patriots on third down and in the red zone are not what they've always been, and it's clearly because they have these inexperienced receivers.
If we can we pull up the tweet from Mike Pereira, guys? I believe we do have graphics right now. At least we hope they came back. Steve, you okay over there?
Yeah, I dropped my mic.
I know. So, okay, Mike Pereira, Rule 913, Team B players cannot push teammates on the line of scrimmage into offensive formation. I think we have one more. Examples of this were put on the officials' weekly training tape, pointing out instances where it wasn't called this season, but should have been.
Here's the other thing about this call, why it's a dumb...
Mike Pereira, Fox Sports.
Right, Mike Pereira. I don't know that he's ever said... I love having him. It's a great hire by Fox Sports. Have you heard? I don't know. I didn't do research on it. Have you ever heard him say that was a terrible call by the officials? It always seems to me that he's...
Yeah, he tweets out some stuff where it's like, that would be incorrect.
All right, well then...
He never says it's a terrible call, but he says they got that one wrong.
Okay, all right. So they clearly, that rule exists. He pushed him, not heavily, and it didn't seem to make a difference. He pushed him. He went behind him and he pushed him. But like, why is that? Why in the NFL is that unsportsmanlike conduct? Which is, by the way, the funniest name for a rule ever.
What would you call it?
Sir, good sir, that was
No
not
pushing.
terribly sportsmanlike of you.
What would you call it?
I don't know. Why is that not? Why can't it? Why can't
Is
it be?
there, is there concern that you would take one player as like a battering ram and like just jam him through, and somehow that causes injuries? Not fair. Like you should be able to go through on your own efforts, not because your buddies push you through.
I mean,
is that what it is?
Why then is that? What seems to me to be far more dangerous then, of course, is downfield scrums near the goal line or near a first down, where offensive linemen come in and bash and ram into the pile to move it forward. I just don't. That's why I want the legislative history on it. What
agree.
made them have
I
this
agree.
rule? But that said, what's wrong with saying that's a 5-yard penalty? What, like, it's like we've decided all these penalties.
I
That's
agree.
the same as Brandon Merriweather leading with his defensive receiver and knocking a guy out of the game. And this guy went, and that fun 15 yards. That changed the game. It changed the game. 5 yards. Make him kick a
By the way,
51-yard field goal.
it's the second time this season where the Jets were beneficiaries of stupid, idiotic 15-yard penalties
What was the
at the
first
end
one?
of the game.
Tampa Bay, right?
Tampa Bay,
Right.
to give them a easier field goal to win the game. That's twice.
Oh, and
now.
they knocked Geno Smith out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Jets are two peculiar calls. First one was unquestionably a dumb defensive play. This one, I guess they'd been taught that rule, but nobody had ever called it before.
Right.
So you want to give them a little bit of a break. The Jets could obviously incredibly easily be 2-5.
Right.
Delia, what do you think?
Well, I think the rule is unnecessary, but if it is a rule, the refs made the right call.
I agree.
And
5
I think,
yards. 5 yards.
and it was against the Patriots, who are a team that are known to get the calls in their favor. So I think there's a Raiders fan smiling somewhere after they saw that play, going back to the tuck roll when Brady, he had the refs. For me, watching the Patriots, I'm used to them getting the calls versus having it go against them. So
I think
it kind
I
of
think the only
evened things
reason they
out in
get
that
calls
sense.
is because they're smarter and better coached. That's why they get calls, because they don't make as many mistakes.